Part 59. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 583. Zhang Zizai kept smiling. In fact, he and Shen Xiao were quite shocked. The ancient god actually gave Tianxing City 10 8th level evolution sources. Which ancient god came to give it directly, or in some other way? Can you directly see the ancient gods from this well of the gods? It can be heard that one must have the Sky Star Order to enter the Tianxing Mountain in Tianxing City, and then have the opportunity to obtain the 8th level evolutionary source. In fact, the 8th level evolutionary source is very precious. Even if you can't get it yourself, it is still a waste. It was an important asset, and Zhang Zizai now had the source talisman. The 8th level evolutionary source would definitely be the best, and there was no way he wouldn't be able to use it. We still don't know how to get the 8th level evolutionary source if we can enter Tianxing Mountain, Zhang Zizai said. Feng Qingyu couldn't tell that he was talking about something completely uninformed. She said, "You guys are a bit ignorant. It's like this. The ancient gods descended on 10 star monuments on Tianxing Mountain. It is said that every day a star tablet has a top-level Kun-level battle technique that anyone can watch and understand. However, it is said that the star tablet is very obscure and difficult to understand, so no one has been able to understand it. Once it is understood, the ancient god will granted the 8th level evolutionary source. It can be said that it kills two birds with one stone. It is all about understanding, so everyone wants to try their luck, but to be honest, without the star order, there is no way to get in. Do you have a star order?" Zhang Zizai shook his head. By understanding the battle tactics and obtaining the 8th level evolution source, is the battle tactics so difficult? Zhang Zizai became a little interested. The 8th level evolution source is enough to evolve the totem to a universe level totem. My senior sister Yu still has a lot of heavenly star tokens in her hand. I will tell her when the time comes that you have been a life-saving grace to us. I wonder if she will be willing to give you the heavenly star tokens. I can't guarantee it, Feng Qingyu said. If you can, thank you so much. If she doesn't want to, that's okay, Zhang Zizai said. Don't think too much. No one will give the Tianxing order until you reach the Tianyuan realm. It has been agreed that you cannot enter the Tianyuan realm, Zhao Zikong said with a strange air behind him. Zhang Zizai couldn't figure out what the mentality of these two people was. They obviously saved their lives, so why were they still chattering? It's okay. When we get to Tianxing City, I'll figure it out with you, Feng Qingyu said with a smile. Actually, we just came to this area. Who are the people in charge of Tianxing City? Zhang Zizai continued to ask. This city was built in ancient times by more than 20 geniuses from the totem world around us. Now there are more than a dozen controllers, all of whom are the number one existences in the nearby totem world. For example, our moon senior sister is the first person in our Fengxing realm Wanjiu divine sect who has reached the 4th level of Tianyuan realm. When Feng Qingyu talked about her, her heart was full of reverence. I know a person, Lin Feng from the Zikan realm. Is he also the controller of Tianxing City? Zhang Zizai asked. Since you know Lin Feng? He is indeed, and he is very strong. He has many conflicts with our senior sister Yu. He is an annoying person. You should not have a relationship with him, right? How is this possible? I also heard about his bad reputation, Zhang Zizai grinned. It turns out that Tianxing City is a city built by geniuses from dozens of nearby totem worlds throughout the ages in the Well of God's realm. It is probably used as a core. There should be many people there. In that place, Zhang Zizai can quickly understand this. The Well of God has a deeper understanding. At the same time, go and see how difficult it is to see the star monument on Star Mountain that day. This time I got a lot of information from Feng Qingyu, and Shen Xiao also had a lively chat with her. She was a smart person and very good at talking. After a while, I basically had a deeper understanding of Tianxing City. It took about 10 days to walk through the vast well of God's domain, which already spanned the entire origin continent, but the well of God's domain was still endless. Finally, Zhang Zizai saw the star-like well. A city embedded in a high mountain, the city shines brightly and can be seen from far away. It took a day from seeing Tianxing City to actually arriving outside Tianxing City. I didn't expect that Tianxing City was so huge, and there was a totem array in the city. It was probably to prevent the source beast from invading, and you need to pay spirit stones to enter Tianxing City. The longer you stay inside, the more spiritual stones you need to pay. These spiritual stones will eventually fall into the hands of various controllers. Each of them has great power, and behind them stands the genius of the entire totem world. Far away, when the totem world comes to their territory, they will not have an advantage. For example, when I was questioned when I entered the city, I heard that Zhang Zizai came from Qingyang realm, a totem world I had never heard of, and he was immediately classified as a totem world far away. Therefore, he needs to pay more spiritual stones than others. I'll take you to my stronghold in the popular world, Feng Qingyu said. Tianxing City has been brought here, Qingyu. It is impossible for senior sister Yu to give the Tianxing order to outsiders, and they do not meet the standards. Wu Shen whispered beside her. You have to give it a try. You must repay the life-saving grace. I brought them here and prevented them from being killed by the source beast. Doesn't that count as retribution? Zhao Zikong said depressedly. With their strength, they haven't been to the well of God's realm for a few years on time, and they have a daughter with them. It's not bad if they don't die along the way. Stop talking nonsense about you. Feng Qingyu was a little annoyed. She left them behind and came to Zhang Zizai, still smiling and guiding them. Finally we arrived at a large mansion with probably hundreds of courtyards. Qingyu, why are you here? Just as he was about to go in, a beautiful woman wearing a moon-white dress came out. This woman was very tall and beautiful. She was a big beauty, but her temperament was a bit, so noble. Senior sister Yu Qingyu threw herself into her arms and said, when I came to Tianxing City this time, I was almost killed by the origin beast, but luckily I was saved by 3 friends. These 3, Yu Lingzhen's eyes fell on Zhang Zizai. They are all in the divine seal realm. How can they save you? What kind of source beast did they encounter, Qingyu? It's the desolate lion. It's very scary. They have Kun-level talismans, which scared the desolate lion away, Feng Qingyu said. Qingyu is too naive, so she only used a few Kun-level talismans, which just happened to scare the wild lion, Zhao Zikong said. No matter what, thank you. Yu Lingzhen came with Feng Qingyu, took out some 9th grade spiritual stones in her hand, and said, thank you for saving Qingyu. Here are 200 9th grade spiritual stones. It's my little thought, please accept it. I will try my best if I need help in Tianxing City in the future. Senior sister, I don't want any spiritual stones. Can you give them a few heavenly star tokens? They just need them, Feng Qingyu asked. Tianxing order. Yu Lingzhen's face turned serious. Oh, did you recognize your identities and save people for a purpose? She said. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 584. There were many geniuses from their Fengxing realm around Yu Lingzhen, more than 10 people in total. When they heard Yu Lingzhen's words, they all looked at Zhang Zizai with contempt. So you came here for the heavenly star order. Saving people with a purpose is indeed ill-intentioned. Zhang Zizai was stunned for a moment. In fact, he felt that it was normal for the other party not to give it, but it was inevitable to think about the problem from this perspective. No, senior sister, he didn't know me at all before that, Feng Qingyu explained. No need to say more, the heavenly star order cannot be given to outsiders. Yu Lingzhen interrupted Feng Qingyu, then put the bag of 9th grade spirit stones in Feng Qingyu's hand and said, give this to them as a reward. You are too naive. It is easy to suffer in this complex world. People with ulterior motives are not worth associating with. Senior sister, Feng Qingyu was particularly embarrassed. She was kind-hearted, but she didn't expect to let Zhang Zizai fall into the situation with them. Put away these broken spirit stones. With such a small heart, you still claim to be the master of Tianxing City. It's amazing. Let's go. Sheng Xiao's temper was originally bad, and he couldn't stand it. What did you say? Many people in Fengxingji stood up and looked at Shen Xiao fiercely. You are talking to me, a mere divine seal realm, a thing at the bottom of the well of divine domain, dare to interrupt, Zhao Zikong said sarcastically. He, if you save a dog on the road, you know to bark a few times to express gratitude. Your attitude, he. Shen Xiao was full of anger. If it were in the past, he would definitely slap them. What do you mean? Wu Sheng took 2 steps forward, obviously intending to take action. Don't, why are you like this? Feng Qingyu was anxious. Okay, don't make Qingyu difficult, you can go, I won't bother with you about what I said just now. Yu Lingzin waved her hand and ordered them to leave. See you again if we are destined to meet again. Zhang Zizai was never as angry as Shen Xiao. He said goodbye to Feng Qingyu with a smile on his face, and then turned around and left here with Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. Why are you so cowardly? You are insulted like this and you don't fight back. Is this you? Shen Xiao said, very unhappy after walking a few steps. It seems that you don't know me yet. Am I the kind of young man who loses his temper on the spot even though he is not as skilled as others? Some things will have answers after a long time, Zhang Zizai said. This is the wisdom taught by his father. Do you mean I am? Shen Xiao glared at him. Big breasts and no brains, Zhang Zizai said contemptuously. You. Forget it, it's you who others despise anyway, I don't bother to care about you. What should I do without the Tianxing order? They quarreled every day, and Ling Xian finally got a word in. Zhang Zizai looked at the Tianxing city. The city here is very large, but there are not too many people. About half of them should be people from the nearby Totem world. On the way here just now, I saw an inn. Let's stay here first. We can't let these 2 beauties sleep on the street. Besides, Zhang Zizai needs privacy since he has to travel between the evolution realm and the well of the divine realm at any time. Let's stay here first, then find the Tianxing order to enter Tianxing Mountain, and learn about the well of the divine realm. It sounds like there should be quite a few places like Tianxing City in the well of the divine realm. This is the gathering place, resting place, and cultivation place for the geniuses of the major totem worlds. Basically, they all have bases here. In addition, there should be many relics and dangerous places. There are also places where source beasts gather. Tianxing City is occupied by the geniuses of dozens of totem worlds nearby, but there must be many geniuses from totem worlds far away passing by here, so an inn is necessary, and sometimes it can also make a profit. In this desolate well of the divine realm, a place like Tianxing City, which is protected by a totem formation, is an absolutely safe place. Meteor Inn. Soon, Zhang Zizai found this inn, which was quite large and had many guest rooms. After entering, it was very quiet inside, and there was almost no one in the hall. It was estimated that the guests were either out or practicing. Zhang Zizai and his friends found the counter. A young man in white had already seen them behind the counter. This person was also in the Tianyuan realm, and he looked stronger than Zhao Zikong and his friends. He was probably comparable to Tang Qingming. People who can open an inn in Tianxing City are definitely not ordinary people. What do you guys want? The white-clothed shopkeeper asked. He glanced at Zhang Zizai and his friends. Generally speaking, the financial resources and strength of the geniuses in the well of the divine domain belong to the same level, so these people obviously don't have enough financial resources. Stay in the hotel, Zhang Zizai said. Oh, the shopkeeper in white pointed to a plaque beside him and said, Tianxing City has been unprecedentedly lively recently. Our business is very good and the rooms are in short supply. Now there is only one room left. As for the price, it is 39th grade spirit stones a day. 30. There is only one room left. It is the most exciting for a man and a woman to live in the same room. The key is that the price is too high. Living here for 10 days requires 309th grade spirit stones, which is almost the price of a Kun-level totem weapon. Tianxing City is priced at this price now. I am conscientious. If you can't afford it, you can sleep on the street. But it is not a man's thing to let these two beauties show their faces in public, the shopkeeper in white said lightly. He was tidying up the things on the table, and then looked outside, as if waiting for others to arrive. Set a time limit of 10 days first. Zhang Zizhe was too lazy to bother with these guys who looked down on others. Anyway, he had plenty of spirit stones now, so he took out 309th grade spirit stones and put them on the table. Huh. The shopkeeper in white was a little surprised. He stared at the spirit stones for a long time before saying to Zhang Zizhe, "Your Excellency is quite wealthy, no wonder you have a beauty with you. Stop talking nonsense." Yes, yes. With spirit stones delivered to his door, he was still very honest and took Zhang Zizhe to the room directly. His room was actually a courtyard with several rooms inside. Zhang Zizhe could not fulfill his wish of being alone in the same room with a man and a woman. "By the way, do you know where I can get the Heavenly Star Order?" After arriving, Zhang Zizhe took the opportunity to ask him. "Tianxing Order," he thought for a moment and said, "I know someone is selling it, but there is no demand for it. The supply is too scarce. The controllers are keeping a tight grip on it. They don't want outsiders to enter Tianxing Mountain." "How much is the price?" "About 300 yuan per piece. But the main reason is that there is no stock. If there is stock, people will rush to buy it, and the price may go up." "Do you have a Tianxing order?" Zhang Zizhe suddenly asked. "Yes, but I only have one, so I can't sell it to you," the white-clothed shopkeeper said. At this point, a young man came in from outside and said, "Brother, I'm here to take over. You can go to Tianxing Mountain." It turned out that he was in a hurry to go to Tianxing Mountain. "Let me see your Tianxing order." When Zhang Zizhe saw the Tianxing order of the white-clothed shopkeeper, he smiled. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 585. He originally thought that the Tianxing order would be a token with the word Tianxing written on it, which would be worthy of the 3 words Tianxing order. But what he never expected was that the so-called Tianxing order was actually a black stone that looked no different from an ordinary stone. After seeing this black stone, he couldn't help laughing because he actually had a lot of such Tianxing orders. Lin Feng, Meng Suzhu, Tang Qingming and others all had such Tianxing orders in their space jade pendants, and Lin Feng had several of them. Fortunately, Zhang Zizhe didn't throw away the seemingly useless stone, otherwise he could only sigh now. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. It is actually quite difficult to get the Tianxing order, but it happened that he had a large number of Tianxing orders in his hands, so the most difficult part of entering Tianxing Mountain has been solved. "If I have a Tianxing order, how can I enter Tianxing Mountain?" Zhang Zizhe asked when the white-clothed shopkeeper was leaving. "To be honest, there are no more Tianxing orders in circulation on the market now, so you have almost no chance," the shopkeeper in white said. If Zhang Zizhe hadn't paid him 309 grade spirit stones, he wouldn't have been so patient with him. "Just tell me. Hold the Tianxing order and pass through the Tianxing Mountain Gate. The Tianxing Mountain Gate is in the center of the city." After saying this, the shopkeeper in white left in a hurry. "Why is he so anxious?" Zhang Zizhe asked the new boy. "I heard that Yetiandao of the Qingming realm has comprehended a star tablet, not only got the battle tactics, but also got the 8th level evolution source bestowed by the ancient god on the spot. There are 10 star tablets, and now only 9 are left, the boy said with great envy. Some people have succeeded. This at least shows the possibility of success, and others will think they have hope, and there will be fewer and fewer star tablets. The boy soon returned to the door. Lingling definitely couldn't enter a place like Tianxing Mountain, and this trip was to comprehend the battle tactics, which should be very boring. Zhang Zizai first persuaded her to go back to the evolution realm, and then he set off with Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. So many peerless geniuses in the totem world have only mastered 1-star monument so far. Do you have confidence in yourself? Shen Xiao asked. No, just try your luck, Zhang Zizai said. I do, Shen Xiao said, the ancestor dragon soul is with me. With their comprehension ability, I should be able to succeed. Then congratulations first, Zhang Zizai smiled. Don't, in case you fail, you will still laugh at me. I can only try my best, she said. Will you try it too? Zhang Zizai asked Ling Xian. She nodded. The three of them had the same pursuit of martial arts. They walked around the bustling Tianxing city, listening to the discussions of people on the roadside, and moved forward. The biggest feeling that Tianxing city gave him was that it was indeed a gathering place for the geniuses of dozens of totem worlds around. Everyone here was the best in the world, so the whole Tianxing city was full of handsome men and beautiful women, all of whom were people with overwhelming momentum. Because the first level of the Well of the Divine Domain was only under 20 years old, almost all of them were young men, all of whom were full of vigor and vitality. There was a vague attraction between men and women. People like Shen Xiao and Ling Xian, if their realm could be higher, should be more eye-catching. Even so, there were still people who came forward to talk to them, but Shen Xiao and Ling Xian were not women who were willing to pay attention to strangers. Tianxing Mountain Gate arrived. In the center of Tianxing City, there is a mountain surrounded by blue mist. The mountain is wide and towering into the clouds. Tianxing City was originally built on the mountain. Tianxing Mountain is the highest part of the entire mountain. Usually, people can enter and exit Tianxing Mountain at will, but recently, a shield similar to the fusion shield has appeared on Tianxing Mountain. The strongest people in the entire Tianxing city cannot break through this shield, but those who have descended the Tianxing order can enter it. The Tianxing Mountain Gate is actually the entrance to the shield. At present, the changes in Tianxing Mountain have been going on for about 3 months. In fact, most people who have the Tianxing order are in Tianxing Mountain, only occasionally entering and exiting. When Zhang Zizai came, there was no one at the Tianxing Mountain Gate, which was convenient for him to enter, so that no one would see him not reach the Tianyuan realm and complain. The controllers of Tianxing City jointly formulated that people cannot enter Tianxing Mountain without reaching the Tianyuan realm, but this was not formulated by the ancient gods. So Zhang Zizai believed that they still had a chance to enter. The gate of Tianxing Mountain is a barrier. You only need to hold the Tianxing order to enter. The process is very simple. Just as Zhang Zizai was holding the Tianxing order and preparing to step in, a female voice suddenly came from behind him. The voice was slightly scolding, saying, "Stop." Zhang Zizai and the other two turned around and saw a group of people coming behind them. There were men and women, all of them were handsome men and beautiful women. Everyone had the aura of a superior, indicating their noble status in their respective worlds. They were figures comparable to Lin Feng's group. Zhang Zizai knew the person who spoke. It was Yu Lingzin from Fengxing realm. Her junior sister Feng Qingyu was also beside her. Unexpectedly, less than an hour had passed and they met them again. This time, Yu Lingzin seemed to be bringing Feng Qingyu into Tianxing Mountain for the first time. But this time there seemed to be another group of people. A handsome young man in a light green robe stood next to Yu Lingzin. He had a feminine temperament. Although he was a man, his appearance could be called beautiful. He actually had a sense of enchantment. Of course, this was just his appearance. Judging from his eyes, this person would definitely not be a hesitant person. Behind this young man, there was also a group of people. Zhang Zizai judged that this young man was the leader of another group of people, from another totem world, but he was now on the same path as Yu Lingxin. Don't trespass into the Tianxing mountain gate without the Tianxing order. You will be injured by the mountain gate shield, Yu Lingxin said seriously. Sister Yu, who are these three? The young man asked softly. Three strangers from afar, but they saved my sister's life, so they asked me for the Tianxing order, Yu Lingxin said. So they saved King Yu. The young man looked at Feng Qingyu and smiled slightly. Next to Feng Qingyu, there stood a young man in a dark green robe. He and the young man were cut from the same mold, except that he looked more masculine and more immature. He was standing side by side with Feng Qingyu. After hearing this, he smiled and said, "Ask for the Heavenly Star Order? Could it be premeditated? Brother Tiandao, Brother Tiankong, it's not like that. I just knew they were short of Heavenly Star Orders, so I offered to bring them to my senior sister." Feng Qingyu was helpless. She found that she couldn't explain it clearly. Sister Feng is a little too naive. She doesn't know that the well of the divine realm is unpredictable, the young man in the dark green robe said. When Zhang Zizai heard the four words Brother Tiandao, he knew the identity of this enchanting young man. He was Ye Tiandao, who had just heard that he had comprehended a star monument, and he was from the Qingming realm. The other young man named Ye Tiankong was probably his younger brother. It seems that the relationship between the Qingming realm and the Fengxing realm is not bad. They were busy talking and didn't care about Zhang Zizai. Zhang Zizai didn't want to listen to them and continued walking forward. Yu Lingxin said in a cold tone, "I told you to stop. Didn't you hear me? I'm thinking about you. Don't waste your time." Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 586. This woman is too nosy. Shen Xiao's face was already very ugly. In comparison, she is indeed much more irritable than Zhang Zizai. "We have the star order." Zhang Zizai showed it, and then said, "As for how it came here, I don't need to report it to you, right?" "Yes," Yu Lingxin was surprised. She really didn't expect that these three people from far away could actually obtain the Tianxing token. It seemed impossible for them to have such capital based on their level. "Even so, we can't enter. We have already agreed that if we are not in the Tianyuan realm, there is no need to go into waste time and waste the quota of the Tianxing order." The young man in the dark green robe, Ye Tiankong, said. "Brother Tiandao, what do you mean?" Yu Lingxin asked the leader Ye Tiandao. "It seems that they have this power. As long as Zhang Zizai is not allowed to enter, they really can't enter. After all, this is Tianxing City and they have the final say." "That's enough." Feng Qingyu's eyes suddenly turned red and she said, "Why are you embarrassing them? They saved my life. I offered to give them the Sky Star token, and they followed me back. If I don't give it to them, forget it." They still scold them. Now that they have obtained the Heavenly Star Order, they still want to embarrass them. Why? As she said this, tears started to flow down her face. Seeing this, Yu Lingxin could only sigh helplessly. She and Ye Tiandao looked at each other and could only lament that this girl was indeed too naive, but she really had to follow her temper today. "You three, listen. Our Tianxing city originally stipulated that no one can enter the Tianyuan realm even with the Tianxing order, but for the sake of your life-saving grace to my junior sister, this time we will allow the three of them to do so. Go in, but this life-saving grace will be written off in one stroke, and my junior sister will no longer owe you any favors," Yu Lingxin said solemnly. Zhang Zizai couldn't help but roll his eyes. Pity Feng Qingyu's tears were still in vain. He was too lazy to pay attention to them, signaled to Shen Xiao and Ling Xian, and continued walking towards the gate of Tianxing Mountain. "It's a bit inappropriate. I'm afraid that others will gossip," Ye Tiandao said softly, but Zhang Zizai still heard it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, they are just going in for a formality. They will come out soon. Only you can understand the star monument. These young people will not know how difficult it is, Yu Lingzin said. Really? It took you 3 months to build a star monument, and you still have the nerve to show off. We'll see. Shen Xiao turned around and sneered. Poof. The group of them couldn't hold it back and laughed. Idiot, you are bringing shame on yourself. Zhang Zizai quickly pulled her back from the moment she was about to run away. In this world, the noise before the winner is decided is of no use. If you can't do it, you will be embarrassed, but if you can do it, you can be heard even in the ends of the world, so focus on the star monument. It is the last word to avoid unnecessary arguments. I know, it's long-winded. Shen Xiao rolled her eyes at him. She knew that Zhang Zizai's logic made sense, because announcing anything to this group of people would only provide them with laughter. As expected, the three of them passed through the Tianxing Mountain Gate and disappeared from the sight of Yu Lingzin and Ye Tiandao. Are these three brothers and sisters? Ye Tiandao asked Zhao Zikong. No, the two women seem to be sisters, and they are both the mistresses of the man. The brother-in-law works with the same husband, and he had a daughter with him before, and he probably left it elsewhere, Zhao Zikong said. They are quite lucky. Ye Tiandao smiled faintly. The three of them are all dragon totems. The dragon totem is still very rare, and the power is strong enough. It can be said that it is a head-to-head match with my totem. It's a pity that the level is too low and the talent is too high. It's bad, otherwise it would still be interesting. 3 dragon totems. Yu Lingzin was also a little surprised. With so many dragon totems gathered together, those who didn't know it would have thought they were from that place, Ye Tiandao said with a smile. In fact, dragon totems are not that rare. Brothers Tang Qingming and Tang Qingxian in the Zikan realm are also dragon totems, Yu Lingzin said. Oh, can that kind of ordinary green dragon compare with the existence in that place? Ye Tiandao obviously dismissed the two people. I haven't seen that dirty guy Lin Feng recently. He was still working hard in front of the star monument some time ago. He left in a hurry for some reason and hasn't come back yet. I don't believe it. He is not interested in the battle tactics of the star monument. Yu Lingzin said in disgust. I guess you gave up, Ye Tiandao smiled. When he said this, they had already entered Tianxing Mountain. Tianxing Mountain is a broad mountain peak. Star monuments are distributed on the surrounding mountainside, arranged in an orderly manner, with intervals between each star monument. Sister Yu still goes to the Moon Star Monument? Ye Tiandao asked. That's natural. That's the most suitable star tablet for me, Yu Lingzin said. I've already taken care of the Wind Star Monument, and I don't know much else about it for the time being, so I'll go to the Moon Star Monument with you. Maybe I can provide you with some reference. Are you sure you don't have thoughts about the Moon Star Monument? Yu Lingzin asked. How is that possible? Since you said so, I will only accompany you and not look at the Star Monument, Ye Tiandao said. Yu Lingzin smiled coquettishly and said, I knew you were not such a person. She saw Ye Tiankong next to her and said, Tian, my junior sister wants to see the Thunder Star Monument. You are responsible for leading her the way. You two happen to have practiced Thunder attribute battle tactics and can communicate with each other. No problem, I will definitely take care of my sister Fang, Ye Tiankong said, patting his chest. Sister. You don't know the way, let him follow you to take care of you. It's okay. When you come out, you can't be as shy as before, Yu Lingzin said. Ye Fengqingyu nodded. What they didn't know was that before this, there was also a group of people talking here, talking about the same problem. There are a total of 9 star monuments left. You probably don't want to go with me, Zhang Zizai said. I'll go to the Fire Star Monument, Chen Xiao said simply. They had already inquired about all the star monuments before they came. I'll go to the Moon Star Monument. Among the many star monuments, only the Moon Star Monument is slightly suitable for Lingxian. The 3-star monuments of the Sun, Moon, and Stars seem to be the best. Are you sure? Shen Xiao asked. The others are even less suitable, Lingxian said. Okay, I'll go to the Thunder Star Monument. Find me if you have anything, Zhang Zizai said simply. Among the many attributes, he used the thunder that was related to his own family the most. If he wanted to find a slightly more certain one, he thought it was the Thunder Star Monument. The Thunder Star stele is on the back of Tianxing Mountain. After he separated from Shen Xiao and Lingxian, he went around to the back of Tianxing Mountain and started climbing up the mountain from the back. When he reached the halfway point of the mountain, he looked up and could see a huge Thunder Star stele inserted on Tianxing Mountain. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 587. Zhang Zizai finally saw the Star Monument. The Star Monument seemed to have fallen from the sky and smashed into the Tianxing Mountain. Half of it was directly inserted into the mountain, causing the mountain wall to crack directly. The Star Monument was about 3 meters high. Because it was the Thunder Star Monument, there were many thunders wrapped around it. The purple thunder formed a strange pattern on the Star Monument, and it was constantly changing and twisting. It looked mysterious and unparalleled. Because the distance was too far, it was still unclear, so Zhang Zizai quickly went over there. After getting closer, I found that there were already hundreds of people in front of the Thunder Star Monument. People kept a distance from each other. The closer to the front, the sparser it was. Obviously, the people closest to the Thunder Star Monument were stronger. They occupied the best position and required others not to get close to them. On the contrary, many people gathered on the periphery, but at this position, it was a little worse to want to observe the Star Monument completely. Zhang Zizai found that there were still many people in the Divine Seal realm here. It seemed that they were not so strict at all. He came to the vicinity of this group of people. This was the closest position he could reach the Thunder Star Monument. If he went any further, those heavenly source realm people might not agree. There was not a dead silence in front of the Star Monument. Some people were discussing with the people next to them while observing. The battle tactics of the Star Monument came from the ancient gods, so although it is a Kun-level battle tactic, its effect is far more than just a Kun-level one. I heard that there was a person in the Thousand Feather realm who gained insights when observing the Star Monument and broke through his realm. Yes, I think the mystery contained in this Thunder Heaven Monument is not just a battle tactic. As for the 8th level evolution source, it is even less critical. After all, there are still some U-level totems present, and they don't need the 8th level evolution source themselves. By the way, the people in the Thunder Cloud realm in front, who have such a good position, still got nothing. Are we redundant here? Zhang Zizai also saw that the group of people in front of the Thunder Star Monument were wearing uniform clothes. They should be from the same totem world. They hugged together and occupied the best position, and outsiders could not get close. The strongest Thunder Cloud brothers, Lei Sheng and Lei Mi, stood directly under the Thunder Star Monument, but still got nothing. In this case, Yetiandao from Qingming realm can comprehend the Star Monument, which really shows that he is the number one person in Tianxing City. I don't think so. This is not the real combat power. There are many people at this level. It is not certain who is the real number one. Zhang Zizai looked forward. The two people in the front who looked almost the same were Lei Sheng and Lei Mi from the Thunder Cloud realm. These two people were twin brothers. One practiced Yang Lei and the other practiced Yin Lei. One was hot and masculine, and the other was feminine and weird. They were indeed strong people at the level of Lin Feng. He didn't care about so much. He sat down cross-legged and prepared to comprehend the Thunder Heaven Monument. Brother Zhang, suddenly someone called him. He turned around and saw that it was Feng Qingyu. She stood behind him timidly and said, "I'm sorry." "It's okay. Don't worry about it. My senior sister and the others. Everyone has their own position and experience. Zhang Zizai smiled. Thank you for understanding, Feng Qingyu said gratefully. Sister Feng, a man came up from behind and said, why are you here? Brother Lei Yun and I have discussed it and gave you a very front position, right next to me. Let's go up together. It was Ye Tiankong. When he came, many people noticed him. Ye Feng Qingyu nodded and said goodbye to Zhang Zizai. Just after walking 2 steps, Ye Tiankong whispered in her ear, your senior sister said that you should not walk with people with ulterior motives in the future. You are too simple and easy to suffer. How do I know if you have ulterior motives? Feng Qingyu suddenly asked back. My brother and your senior sister have a very good relationship. We are family. Ye Tiankong smiled awkwardly. Okay. Feng Qingyu didn't say much, but in fact, she was clear in her mind. Looking back at Zhang Zizai, he was at the farthest position, his eyes were completely on the Thunder Star Monument, he seemed to have no distractions, and was completely immersed in the Star Monument. The position of the Star Monument is very important. Let me tell you quietly, from our position forward, we can basically not see the Star Monument clearly, let alone gain anything. Those people behind us are just wasting their time. My brother has a good relationship with Brother Lei Yun, so they are willing to give us this face, Ye Tiankong said with a smile. I know. She knew that Zhang Zizai was just trying his luck, and it didn't matter whether he succeeded or not. Besides, there were only 10 star monuments, and there were too many people who wanted to get them, so it was not the turn of the Divine Seal realm. Time passed quietly. An hour later. Suddenly, the Thunder Star Monument shook. Everyone was stunned, and suddenly opened their eyes, staring at the Thunder Star Monument. It is said that this is a sign that someone has understood. Then, the thunder on the Star Monument gathered together and condensed into a lightning ball, which separated from the Star Monument. The entire Star Monument became dim, which means that the Star Monument has failed. Someone must have succeeded. One of the Liun brothers. Who is it? Lei Sheng, or Lei Mei. Just as they were looking at the lightning ball with shocked eyes, the lightning ball also came towards the crowd. Whoever the lightning ball landed on means that he has succeeded. At this time, the lightning ball was already above Lei Sheng and Lei Mei's heads. Both of them looked very stunned, as if they were completely unprepared, but their eyes were still full of expectations. After all, they had some clues, but they didn't know whether these clues were equivalent to success. They really succeeded. Envy, people exclaimed. But immediately, the people of the entire Liun world were dumbfounded, because the lightning ball passed over their heads. Ye Tiankong looked at the lightning ball flying towards him, and his whole body was trembling. I succeeded. It's my turn after my brother? Our family is favored by the ancient gods. He was so excited that he wanted to jump up. He clearly saw that the direction of the lightning ball was himself. He stood up directly and stretched out his hands to greet the lightning ball. It turned out to be Ye Tiankong. His position is not in the front, but he has such a transcendent talent. People were stunned again, not the Liun brothers, but Ye Tiankong. It was really shocking. But what happened next made people even more sluggish. Because when Ye Tiankong stood up to block the direction of the lightning ball actually spared him, as if it understood human nature, and flew behind him, coming to the position farthest from the Thunder Star Monument. That, a black-clothed boy sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, and at this time, lightning was wrapped around his body, like a god. Feng Qingyu stood up and covered her mouth, otherwise she would definitely scream. That person was Zhang Zizai. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 588. Zhang Zizai really felt that the twisting of lightning on the Thunder Star monument was very mysterious. Sometimes they formed words, and sometimes they looked like some kind of action. It was because of the difficulty, obscurity, and mystery that he spent a full hour to sort everything out. This is indeed a top-level Kun-level battle tactic, the best among the upper-grade Kun-level battle tactic. Even its power may be similar to the highest-level battle tactic, the Gen-level battle tactic. The Kinkan Sun, Moon, and Stars, the Gen level is already the highest in the world. This Kun-level battle tactic can be said to be the kind that even the Holy Spirit servant would desire. It is indeed very obscure, with thousands of changes and evolutions, which makes people dizzy, but Zhang Zizai does not think that the Thunder Star monument is so difficult that he cannot understand it for several months. Whenever he feels dizzy, he practices the Taixu Universe Soul Refining technique for a while, drifts at the bottom of the river of time for a while, and immediately becomes energetic. The problems that he could not see through and understand before are often solved. In 1 hour, he found the law from the mysterious changes of the electric current on the star monument. In fact, he only needed to find the law, and there was no need to spend so much time thinking hard. Many problems could be solved directly. Of course, the top geniuses in other totem worlds spent 3 months to comprehend the mystery, but he only took 1 hour, and even he felt that it was a bit against the sky. He just came to try his luck, but he didn't expect his luck to be so good. It should be related to my high soul realm and the practice of Taixu Universe Soul Refining technique. Maybe it has something to do with my totem, Zhang Zizai guessed. He knew how many people looked at him with incredible eyes and shock at this time. He didn't care much, because his attention was on this Kun-level battle art. 9 Heavens Thunder Tribulation World Destroying Sword Art. Even the name is 8 characters. This domineering reputation directly made Zhang Zizai feel its terrifying power. This sword art can trigger the thunder tribulation above the 9 heavens, merge into the sword art, and burst out the sword of destruction. 9 consecutive swords, the power of each sword can achieve a destructive effect, and each sword is stronger than the previous one. This is a very rough and lethal sword art, which is many times more powerful than the 5 elements demon subduing stick. Zhang Zizai was very satisfied. No wonder they thought this battle tactic was as important as the 8th level evolution source. So, what about the evolution source? His heart suddenly throbbed a little, and he subconsciously raised his head at this time. A vortex suddenly appeared above his head. Thunder was entangled above the vortex. At that moment, Zhang Zizai had the same feeling as when he stood on the origin altar and got the Death God evolution source on the day of God's luck. In the thunder vortex, a stone with a pair of wings fell from the sky, and surging thunder was entangled on it. This strange-looking treasure is the 8th level evolution source. And it is the evolution source given by the ancient God himself. Behind the vortex, it was mysterious and endless, as if there was a stalwart giant standing there, looking down at the world with a lofty gaze. There was an insurmountable gap between the world and him. When the evolution source appeared, the vortex disappeared quickly, and the throbbing breath also disappeared quickly. Everyone's eyes fell on the evolution source held in Zhang Zizai's hand. It turned out to be the immortal electric demon. This is the top-level 8th level evolution source, which evolved into the immortal electric demon totem with terrifying power. Some people screamed. After all, there were still people who knew the goods. When he screamed, everyone knew what evolution source Zhang Zizai had obtained. However, Zhang Zizai acted quickly and put it away directly, and the pressure brought by the immortal electric demon evolution source disappeared. My brother is now a universe-level totem, and this immortal electric demon is also very suitable for him. Maybe he can evolve his totem to a universe-level totem. The universe-level totem is already the highest totem for mortals. Zhang Zizai is really a good brother. He even wanted to go back to Qingyang realm and hand over the immortal electric demon to Zhang Junjian first, so as to avoid more trouble. After all, he looked around and saw too many shocked, jealous and envious eyes. Everyone had surrounded him. Feng Qingyu and Ye Tiankong were the closest to him. It was Ye Tiankong who rushed up directly, and Feng Qingyu had to catch up. Ye Tiankong was standing in front of him. His eyes were the most complicated. He said directly, "What kind of evil method did you use to understand the Thunder Star Monument so quickly?" He couldn't bear such a fact. "Of course it depends on peerless talent," Zhang Zizai said lightly. What he said to Shen Xiao made sense. When others despise themselves, there is no need to shout at each other. Judging from Ye Tiankong's ugly face now, he has been slapped hard. All the words he said before are now a kind of irony. These ironies pierced his body like a sword, which made Ye Tiankong so uncomfortable. "You're talking nonsense. You must be. You mean, you question the fairness of the ancient gods? Ancient gods, why do you favor a nobody like me? Are you trying to find an excuse for your own ignorance?" Zhang Zizai's continuous questions left Ye Tiankong speechless. "Don't be too happy too soon. You are just a god seal realm, but you got such a treasure, and it's in the well of the god realm. Do you think this is a good thing? The well of the god realm is always a place where geniuses compete." Ye Tiankong suddenly smiled meaningfully. As soon as he finished speaking, Brother Liun from the Liun realm came up with a group of people. "Ye Tian, do you know him? Who is this?" The faces of Brother Liun were already very ugly. Ye Tiandao's success made them feel the pressure. They were going to work harder, but they didn't expect that Zhang came out halfway. Zizi ruined all their plans at once. "I don't know an unknown person from afar who only has the divine seal realm," Ye Tian said. He highlighted a few key points and made the Liun brothers look at each other. With one look, they had already determined what they were going to do. If it is a genius from a nearby world and everyone is acquainted with it, this will be very difficult to do. However, an unknown person from the divine seal realm from afar has almost all the conditions to bully him. "What's your name?" Ye Tiankong didn't even know, so he asked Feng Qingyu again, and Feng Qingyu said, "Ask me what to do, just ask me directly." Upon seeing this, Lei Sheng walked past them and introduced himself to Zhang Zizai, highlighting that the person from the Thundercloud realm was nearby. "My name is Zhang Zizai, what can I do for you?" In fact, he could tell with his toes that he wanted the two treasures Zhang Zizai got. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 589. Brother Zhang, we have been guarding this Thunder Star Monument for a long time, but today you have gained good fortune. However, I think this fortune is not very useful to you, especially the battle tactics, which you probably can hardly use. I wonder if you can offer a suitable price and sell these two treasures to us brothers," Lei Sheng said with a smile. When talking about business, sincerity is still necessary. Okay, Zhang Zizai was straightforward, which made them overjoyed. "Brother Zhang, what price do you think is suitable?" 1,000,000 10-grade spirit stones, do you have it? Zhang Zizai said. Everyone in the Thundercloud realm was stunned. Immediately, their faces became very ugly. "He's playing tricks on us." Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Where did this unknown person come from? He doesn't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. Doesn't he know whose territory this is? Shut up, Lei Sheng waved his hand. He could still keep calm and said to Zhang Zizai, "In fact, these two things are really of no benefit to you. The well of the divine domain is a chaotic place. If you let someone more capable keep it, you can get paid. Why not do it? Don't be greedy and swallow an elephant. In the end, you will hurt yourself." "It sounds like you are threatening me. If I don't sell it to you, I might die here," Zhang Zizai asked with a smile. "Don't say that. This is the test place of the ancient gods. How dare we mess around? And we are all upright people. It would be best if we can exchange it with spirit stones or other treasures suitable for you, Lei Mi said seriously. That is to say, if I leave Tianxing Mountain, I will be in great danger if I leave this place where the ancient gods test me, Zhang Zizai asked. That's natural. After all, a man is innocent, but he is guilty of possessing a treasure. Of course, we respect the choice of the ancient gods, and we will definitely not do anything rash. Others may not reward you, Lei Sheng smiled. Thank you for your concern and reminder. In this case, I will not leave Tianxing Mountain, Zhang Zizai said. The people in the thundercloud realm turned pale. When all 10 star monuments are penetrated, the shield of Tianxing Mountain will disappear, and this place will no longer be a place where the ancient gods test, yet Tiankong interrupted. By then, you will not be able to touch me, Zhang Zizai smiled, and actually ignored their transaction requirements, turned around and left, leaving everyone with gloomy faces. Follow him secretly. Go wherever he goes. I don't believe that I can't find an opportunity to take action, Lei Sheng said in a deep voice. Just remember, don't compete in Tianxing Mountain. The ancient gods are watching. Who knows what irreversible consequences will occur, Lei Mi said. After the Thunder Star Monument was comprehended, it was meaningless for them to stay in Tianxing Mountain. The only meaning now was to find an opportunity to get the treasure that should belong to them from Zhang Zizai. Not only in the Liun realm, many people who are interested in the Thunder Star Monument are eager to make a move on Zhang Zizai. Sister Feng, let's go find my brother and your senior sister, Ye Tiankong said. Find them and tell them to join the ranks of tracking him, Feng Qingyu said blankly. Such a big thing, they must know as soon as possible. It will be good for us, Ye Tiankong said. But the ancient god has already chosen him. Why are you all so bold? Yes, he has been chosen, but the protection of the ancient god is second only to Tianxing Mountain. If he leaves Tianxing Mountain, he will be left to fend for himself, and the ancient god cannot protect him forever. Besides, how can a person who can't even keep the treasure be qualified to get the treasure? You are indeed too naive, Ye Tiankong said. Really? Feng Qingyu looked at Zhang Zizai's disappearing back blankly. He has been so calm so far, as if he is not panicked at all. I think he is much more powerful than we imagined. After all, within an hour, he can comprehend the Thunder Star Monument at such a far distance. There is no second person in the whole Tianxing city who can do this, Feng Qingyu murmured. It's just dog shit luck. There are always people in this world who have dog shit luck, Ye Tiankong said contemptuously. He really didn't accept it. But he knew that if this news spread, it would cause a sensation in the whole Tianxing Mountain. At this time, Zhang Zizai was choosing a target. He didn't rush to hide and practice the Nine Heavens Thunder Tribulation world-destroying sword art, but began to lock on the next target. In other words, he was not satisfied with just getting an 8th level evolution source. Since he was here and seemed to be good at this, he must continue to try other star monuments. On the contrary, it would make people jealous. Anyway, he was already being watched, and there were a lot of people following him. It would be better not to hide and use his talent in this area to the fullest. After some thinking, he chose the Gold Star Monument. The Gold Star Monument was not far from the Thunder Star Monument, and Zhang Zizai arrived soon. Of course, he did not get rid of the large number of followers behind him, and even the Liun brothers had nothing else to do, and stared directly at Zhang Zizai, as if Zhang Zizai himself was the Thunder Star Monument. There were also a large number of people in front of the Golden Star Monument. They were all meditating intensively at this moment. Standing in the front was a young man in a golden robe. While he was meditating on the Golden Star Monument, he was holding a beauty in his arms. The beauty was tall and slender with a great figure, and she had a baby face. At this moment, she was nestling comfortably in the arms of the young man in the golden robe, asking for candy. Smita, stop making trouble, someone is coming. The young man in the golden robe gently pushed the beauty in his arms away, and then turned back to look at the group of people who followed from the Thunder Star Monument. "Brother Xuanhuan, don't do that," the beauty called Smita said coquettishly. "Stand still, sister," the young man in the golden robe glared at her, and then she stopped acting coquettishly. He squinted his eyes and looked at the Liun brothers coming from afar. Jin Xuanhuan, the eyes of the Liun brothers collided with his. "You people from the Liun world, why are you not at the Thunder Star Monument, coming here?" Jin Xuanhuan said, a little unhappy. When he spoke, he liked to raise his chin and point his two nostrils at others. Join in the fun. The people from their Liun world did not come forward, but stood in the distance, folding their arms and looking at this side. At this time, a young man from Jin Zhonghuan's Hantianja leaned close to his ear and said a few words, and Jin Zhonghuan's face changed directly. "The Thunder Star Monument has been understood by someone." Jin Zhonghuan couldn't help but want to laugh. This news was really refreshing for him. After all, their relationship with the Thunder Cloud realm was not good. The Liun brothers didn't say anything. "The person who understood the Thunder Star Monument came to me." "Who is it?" Jin Zhonghuan glanced at the crowd. When many people focused their attention on Zhang Zizhe, who was studying the Golden Star Monument, he also noticed him. "Who is this?" "An unknown person in the Divine Seal realm." "Are you sure?" Jin Zhonghuan laughed dumbly. He felt that this was a prank. "Brother Xuanhuan, don't pay attention to them. Let's continue." The beauty Smecta hugged his shoulders and twisted her hips and said coquettishly. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 590. Okay, Jin Zhonghuan agreed quickly. After all, the voice made people's bones go numb. He finally turned around and said, "Those from the Thunder Cloud realm, you can do it, but don't make trouble." "Aren't you worried that he has comprehended the Golden Star Monument?" Lei Sheng asked. Jin Zhonghuan laughed dumbly and said, "Stop talking nonsense. There are people as smart as me in the entire Tianxing city. I don't even know. You are far behind." "Brother Xuanhuan is the most powerful," Smecta said proudly. Brother Lei Yun stopped talking. "It is said that everyone in Hantianja is very proud. This is something deep in their bones, but often, their abilities cannot keep up with their arrogance." He actually let Zhang Ziyu sit in the corner with peace of mind. For him, it was impossible for Zhang Ziyi to clearly see the location of the Golden Sky Monument from that position. If you can't even see clearly, what else can you comprehend? "Brother Xuanhuan, they will take action on that little guy later," Smecta said in his arms. "It's okay. I'll ask someone to follow you and report to me if there is any situation. When the time comes, I will get a share of the pie," Jin Zhonghuan said confidently. He continued to understand the Golden Star Monument, and he felt that it was almost done. The changing golden words and patterns on the Golden Sky Monument were all based on evidence. He had gradually found the pattern, and now he was just short of an idea to integrate everything. He even felt that this battle strategy was already approaching him. He even knew the name of this battle strategy, which was called 10,000 June Boundary Breaking Fist. This is a very domineering boxing technique. One punch is powerful and powerful. The power of the fist is like the suppression of a golden mountain. One punch can break the world. Time passed quietly, and many people noticed that when it was close to 2 hours, an inexplicable golden light appeared on Zhang Zizhe's body. The one who also had this kind of golden light was Jin Zhonghuan. A group of young men and women from Hantianja over there were very noisy. Seeing this kind of light on Jin Zhonghuan, they started to pick up and chatter excitedly. "Senior Jin is so awesome. Senior Jin, you are amazing. You are the pride of my Hantianja. That one is called Yetiandeo, but it's only a little faster. Our Senior Jin must be stronger. Senior Jin will succeed soon." When they were excited, they didn't look behind them. Naturally, they didn't see a young man with a stronger golden light far behind them. Behind Zhang Zizhe, the expressions of the group of people following him had changed drastically. They were extremely nervous and looked at everything with dull expressions. It seems that the Golden Star Monument is about to be penetrated. But, does it belong to Kim Jong-un, or to this unknown person who appears from nowhere? It would be terrible if it belonged to this unknown person. Because this unknown guy just got the Thunder Star Monument. The answer will be revealed soon. The Golden Sky Monument completely turned into gold at this moment. A stone monument was directly poured into gold and became a huge gold brick. Then the gold suddenly faded, and all the gold condensed into a golden ball of light. At this time, the star monument it has become a piece of waste stone. Everyone's attention is on the golden ball of light. Senior Jin, you are invincible. People in Hantianjia roared, reveled, laughed, and danced. We, the people of Hantianjia, are indeed an excellent nation. Their eyes were staring straight at the golden ball of light. The golden ball of light and the golden light on Jin Xuanhuan were attracted to each other. In the blink of an eye, the golden ball of light had reached Jin Zhonghuan's chest. Success, a group of people from Hantianjia were screaming, kneeling down and reveling. Jin Zhonghuan smiled broadly, knowing that he had succeeded. The golden ball of light was on his chest and was about to merge into it. He heard that when Yetiandeo got the Wind Star Monument, a green ball of light also merged into his body. At this moment, the golden ball of light suddenly stopped in front of his chest. What's going on? Jin Zhonghuan puffed up his chest and pushed forward, trying to squeeze the golden light ball indirectly. The people around him were still screaming in revelry, but the golden ball of light suddenly stepped back, as if hesitating for a moment, suddenly turned around Jin Zhonghuan and flew behind him. Jin Zhonghuan was stunned and turned around stiffly. All the people in Hantianjia were stiff, and the smiles on their faces were still frozen. They looked back tremblingly, and then saw the golden ball of light flashing away and appearing on the chest of a young man in black. There was actually golden light on the boy in clothes, and then, the golden light ball actually merged into it. This shows that the Golden Star Monument has allowed this young man to understand it. Wait a minute, isn't this the person who understood the Thunder Star Monument? Why is it him? For a moment, the whole place was in a state of shock. Senior Jin. Everyone in Hantianjia cried and fell to their knees on the ground. I suggest killing this person. Return the Golden Star Monument to Brother Zhonghuan, Smita said angrily. I also suggest. Kill him and get back what belongs to Senior Jin. That originally belonged to Senior Jin, but this brat took it away. The Thunder Star Monument also belongs to Senior Jin. This guy is in the Divine Seal realm and doesn't deserve it at all. Do it quickly. For Senior Jin. They were as wild as a pack of wild dogs. Zhang Zizai was immersed in his own world. He was feeling the power of the 10,000 June world-shattering fist. This is a fighting technique that is comparable to the Nine Heavens Thunder Tribulation world-destroying sword technique. Both are extremely lethal. Type. At this time, the whirlpool in the sky opened again. A golden mountain-shaped evolution source fell down and landed in Zhang Zizai's hand. Zhang Zizai had just picked it up casually, but when he got it in his hand, he found that the evolution source was terribly heavy and almost crushed him. Fortunately, he reacted and squatted to stabilize himself. This is the heaviest evolution source Zhang Zizai has ever seen. The 8th level evolution source is already very expensive and is the most supreme evolution source in the world. 10,000 kilograms of gold mountain, the beauty scimitar called out the name of this evolution source. It is said that the ability of this evolution source can change gravity and make the owner's surroundings extremely heavy. Zhang Zizai thought about it. Is there anyone who is particularly suitable around him? Lu Dingxing is half suitable, so he can try it. If it works, maybe his totem can directly jump from the Hong level to the U level totem. Of course, because it is not completely suitable, there is more than a 50% chance of failure. But so what, the key is that Zhang Zizai has already got it. When he put away the Wanjun Gold Mountain, he was met with countless jealous, resentful, and even murderous eyes. The people of Hantianja seem to be more difficult to deal with than those of Lianja. You, hand over Senior Jin's things, some people even said this directly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 591. You brat, do you hear me? Return the Golden Mountain and the battle tactics to brother Xuanhuan. Smecta's eyes widened, hating Zhang Zizai. The young man named Jin Xuanhuan was already standing in front of Zhang Zizai. He stretched out his hand to Zhang Zizai, and looked at Zhang Zizai majestically with a pair of tiger eyes. His attitude was very obvious. If you don't take it out, you won't be able to leave Tianxing City, Jin Xuanhuan said. Zhang Zizai's face didn't change. He pointed at it and said, "The eyes of the ancient god are watching. He chose me. Do you dare to touch me?" Jin Xuanhuan gritted his teeth and said, "I dare not move now, but you will leave Tianxing Mountain one day. If you don't give it back to me, I will kill you as soon as you leave Tianxing Mountain." "What do you mean by giving it back to you? This wasn't yours in the first place," Zhang Zizai said. "Nonsense, this belongs to my Senior Jin. Everything here belongs to me, Senior Jin. This is Senior Jin's territory." A group of people shouted. Boring Zhang Zizai was too lazy to pay attention to them and continued to turn around and leave. "Stop," Jin Xuanhuan yelled. "I'm warning you one last time. If you don't give it to me this time, you won't have another chance. Taking something that doesn't belong to you will only cost you your life. You'd better think clearly." Whatever, Zhang Zizai turned around and smiled, making the people in Hantianja jump up in anger. Their whole faces were trembling, and their eyes were about to fall off. "You are dead for offending us, the people of Hantianja." Brother Liun watched all this. Lei Sheng said, "Forget it, stop making noise. I have threatened those who should be threatened. He is not afraid of death. Just wait and see." Watching Zhang Zizai leave, Jin Xuanhuan said, "Did he really get the Thunder Star Monument? Otherwise I can follow you here. What kind of character is he? How can he be so fast? He is only in the Divine Seal realm, and his talent is not outstanding," Jin Xuanhuan roared in a low voice. "You ask me, who am I asking? Just follow it," Brother Lei Yun said. "Friends from the Thunder Cloud realm, let's join forces. When the time comes, the heavenly monument of thunder belongs to you, and the heavenly monument of gold belongs to me. We will not interfere with each other," Jin Xuanhuan said. "I'm afraid you all want to monopolize it when the time comes," Lei Mi said sarcastically. "Impossible, absolutely impossible. You have to follow this guy quickly. There is nothing we can do in the short term. He will not leave Tianxing Mountain, but Tianxing Mountain will disappear one day, so we have to wait slowly. Where is he now? I think it might be the next star monument. This guy is crazy. He wants all the star monuments. Does he think this is his home?" Jin Xuanhuan said. All the star monuments, Lei Sheng and Lei Mi looked at each other in shock. They had a premonition that a crazy storm was about to set off in Star City. A person with a large amount of treasures is definitely a asterisk, and can even attract people from the distant totem world. You must know that the well of the gods is endless, and there are thousands of so-called distant totem worlds. Follow him. Their estimate was good. Zhang Zizai's current target was the wooden star monument, which was his third target. The evolutionary source here is definitely suitable for Ruo Xiaoyu, which is the reason why he chose this place. He knew very well that the fact that he had obtained 2 star tablets in a row had spread throughout Tianxing Mountain and even Tianxing City. Yehudeo's acquisition of the Wind Star Steel has already caused a sensation. He was able to obtain 2-star steel within a few hours, which will only cause an even greater sensation. Moreover, he is an unknown person from the Divine Seal realm from afar. This is even more subtle, everyone can feel it, and they also have a chance. It's not about enlightenment, it's about killing people. The Moon Star Steel is the third largest star steel in the entire Tianxing mountain. Among the black star steel, there is only a full moon on it. Different from other changing star steel, the full moon remains unchanged at all, unlike the one in the sky. The full moon is almost identical, like a reflection. Yu Lingxin has been looking at this moon for 3 months. She has been observing from the closest position for 3 months, but has found nothing so far. Don't worry, just concentrate, spread your thoughts, and connect with your surroundings. To be honest, your Moon Star Monument is indeed much more difficult than the Wind Star Monument. The symbols on the Wind Star Monument are constantly changing. I just need to find changes. Regularity is enough, but the Moon Star Monument seems to have no regularity. Have you seen the Sun Star Monument and the largest star monument in the sky? They are even more mysterious. Many people who gather there are just wasting their time, Yu Lingxin said. Don't even think about those 2-star monuments yet. Tiandao smiled. I have some ideas, maybe just give me some time, Yu Lingxin said confidently. She entered the state again. At this time, someone was making a noise, and Yu Lingxin looked back with some displeasure. It turned out that Ye Tiankong ran in with Feng Qingyu. What's the fuss about? Ye Tiandao scolded. Brother, both the Thunder Star Monument and the Golden Sky Monument have been comprehended, Ye Tiankong said with an ugly expression. Brothers Liun and Jin Xuanhuan? Are they so fast? Ye Tiandao was a little surprised. They occupied these 2-star monuments, and they got them by their own. It's nothing. Don't panic. They didn't get it, Ye Tian said hurriedly. Who is that? Yu Lingxin was curious. Many people were very curious, including Zhao Zikong and Wu Sheng, who were also observing the Moon Star Monument. It was the guy who saved King Yu, named Zhang Zizai. He got both star monuments and finished them within 2 hours, Ye Tiankong said resentfully. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. When they heard it, they all laughed. Only Ye Tiandao looked serious and said, Tiankong, you are not a child anymore, why do you still like to play pranks today? Do you think it's interesting? Especially in front of Sister Yu. Brother Tiankong is quite interesting, don't blame him, Yu Lingxin smiled. Others were laughing. This kind of joke is indeed a little funny, and the funniest thing is that he is too serious. I believed it for a while and was stunned for a while. Haha. Yet Tiankong was depressed. He pulled Feng Qingyu up and said, tell them that this is true. It's true, he succeeded, Feng Qingyu said. Huh, the people who were laughing seemed to have a fishbone stuck in their throats. They felt very uncomfortable and their faces turned purple all of a sudden. Ye Tiandao took a deep breath and asked, are you sure you saw it with your own eyes? I saw it with my own eyes, there is nothing wrong with it, and he is now heading to the 3rd star monument, Ye Tiankong said anxiously. Sister Yu, look. Ye Tiandao turned around and saw Yu Lingxin's face was ashen. She was still recalling what she said to Zhang Zizai when she entered the Tianxing mountain gate. Now this news was like a slap in her face, and both sides of her face were burning. King Yu, are you sure? She still couldn't believe it. Go and see for yourself, Feng Qingyu said. You must have seen it wrong, how could it be possible? Zhao Zikong said embarrassedly. No one answered him, and he was even more embarrassed. Let's go, Ye Tiandao said, and a large group of people followed him directly to find Zhang Zizai. In the corner, there was a girl with bloodshot eyes. She heard all this and couldn't help but smile slightly. He's so fast, but I'm almost there. She stared at the moon and remembered a lot. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 592. Zhang Zizai's next target is the Wood Star Monument. Anyway, he has been targeted by someone, and there is a large group of people following him. He doesn't mind taking advantage of his good condition and strong perception ability to comprehend other star monuments. The Taixu Universe soul refining technique has always been increasing his ability to learn battle tactics, skills, and talismans. Practicing this secret book not only improves the soul realm, it also has the function of recuperation and improvement of comprehension. He doesn't know why the geniuses in other totem worlds have such a big gap with him in comprehension. He thought that their realm is so high, they should be about the same as his. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. But since the reality is like this, so many treasures are delivered to the door, it would be strange if he didn't accept them. Anyway, with my identity and strength, comprehending one star monument will make people jealous, so it's better to comprehend more. This is what he is thinking now. Fortune and wealth are sought in danger. If there is no risk, how can there be such a great opportunity just after arriving at the well of the divine domain? Not long after, he came to the Wood Star Monument with the tale of Han Tianjia, Lianjia, and others. On the way, many geniuses and strong men from other worlds heard about Zhang Zizai's affairs and joined the tale. They did not hide, but followed openly and waited for opportunities. Everyone's eyes were unfriendly. Although the understanding of the battle tactics was all in Zhang Zizai's mind and could not be dug out, he could only be forced to write it out, but the source of evolution could be taken away directly. The Wood Star Monument is very large and looks like a tree material. From a distance, it was thought to be a tree stump. Only when you get closer, you will know that it is a flat star monument. There are more people gathered in front of the Wood Star Monument. It seems that people from two forces are competing with each other. There are two people watching in the front. On the left is a gorgeous girl, with a sunny temperament, fragrant flowers, and a sweet smile, which reminds Zhang Zizai of Hualei of the divine section. Their totems must be of the same type. Behind this girl, there are many very beautiful girls, both male and female. Most of the men among them are feminine and speak in a delicate manner. They are from the flower rain realm. The girl in white dress who is the leader is named Bai Xian. She is also one of the controllers of Tianxing City. She is the most outstanding genius in the flower rain realm and a figure who has made a sensation in the world. There is another group of people on the left. On the contrary, there are more men here. Most of them have serious faces, tall and thin bodies, and look old-fashioned. They don't seem to be very interested in the beauties of the flower rain realm around them. All their attention is on the Wood Star Monument. The blue-clothed man in the lead is the tallest and thinnest, and he feels like a crane standing out from the crowd. Although he is tall, his body is very coordinated. He looks majestic when he is high above. Bai Xian, Lu Rishi, don't rush to comprehend it. Your Wood Star Monument is in danger. Before Zhang Zizai approached, Jin Xuanhuan from the Han Tian realm behind him shouted. The Wood Star Monument is mainly contested by geniuses from two worlds, so it is the most lively, unlike other places where almost all of them are occupied by one world, and it is difficult for others to get closer. As soon as Jin Xuanhuan finished speaking, Bai Xian and Lu Rishi looked back. They were also a little surprised that so many people came suddenly. Lu Rishi from the giant wood realm asked in a deep voice, "Why are you here instead of guarding your own star monument?" "Yes, the momentum is a bit huge. Are you here to scare me?" Bai Xian said. "Just to remind you, this person only took 3 hours to comprehend the Thunder Star Monument and the Gold Star Monument in succession, and now he has come to the Wood Star Monument." Jin Xuanhuan pointed at Zhang Zizai, who was surrounded by two groups of people, and said. Lu Rishi and Bai Xian both looked at Zhang Zizai, and Lu Rishi shook his head and said, "Stop joking, this person hasn't even reached the Tianyuan realm. I knew you didn't believe it." Don't blame us for not reminding you of what happened later. Don't you see how many people are following him now? Lei Sheng, one of the Liun brothers, said. When he said this, it was more credible, because no matter how you look at it, their faces are actually quite ugly, not like they are pretending. Why is it you? Suddenly a young man in white appeared and pointed at Zhang Zizai in shock. Rolong, do you know him? Lu Rishi from the Giant Wood realm asked. Brother, a few hours ago, he happened to stay at my meteor inn and asked me how I got the Tianxing order, the young man in white said. Zhang Zizai glanced at him, and coincidentally, he was the white-clothed shopkeeper of the meteor inn. Zhang Zizai came to Tianxing Mountain after him. At that time, it was speculated that it should not be simple for this white-clothed shopkeeper to have such a large foundation background. It turned out that his brother was the leader of the Giant Wood realm. The shopkeeper in white is called Lu Rolong. Zhang Zizai felt something was wrong. He turned sideways and found a position where he could see the wood grain of the trees on the wood star. No matter how these people talked about him, he just kept comprehending. Are you sure he has obtained 2 star tablets? Bai Xian looked at Zhang Zizai and asked the Liun brothers and Jin Xuanhuan. Believe it or not, Jin Xuanhuan said. Yes, would we make such a boring joke? Scimitar rolled his eyes. We don't disbelieve it, but we think that a person in the Divine Seal realm who doesn't know where he came from may be too smart. We are afraid that he has some special means. Bai Xian from the Flower Rain realm said. Her appearance is actually very good looking. It can be said that she is peerless. She is like a white lotus flower standing proudly among everyone. Even Jin Zhonhuan, who has such an enchanting beauty like Smita in his arms, can't help but look at her a few more times, sighing secretly that this beauty looks so pure. Whatever. Jin Zhonhuan rolled his eyes. Bai Xian and Lu Rishi looked at each other. No matter what, are you going to drive him away? Lu Rishi asked. We can't take risks, otherwise we will fall short. The snipe and the clam will fight, and the fisherman will benefit. It sounds like a joke, Bai Xian said. After unifying their opinions, they led 2 people from the Totem world to stand in front of Zhang Zizai. Among them, Lu Rishi looked at Zhang Zizai with blazing eyes and said, Please leave. Zhang Zizai squinted his eyes. He was absorbed in studying the lines of the trees. He thought the lines were very interesting. Circle by circle, there was a sense of time and reincarnation, endless. Bang. Seeing that Zhang Zizai was silent and Lu Rishi's tall body stood directly in front of him, blocking his way, he said in a deep voice, No matter who you are, get out of here. This is strange. The ancient god gave the star tablet. As long as you have the star token, anyone is qualified to watch it, but you force me to leave? Is this a violation of the god's rules? If you do this, there is no need to understand it at all. Can you just take the star monument home and treat it as your own property?